Again, as with algebra, talk about the dominance of connectives in terms similar to the order of operations, like seen here, where we have that a negation is the least dominant, that is to say it should be the last one we consider when looking at connectives. Then we have conjunctions and disjunctions, which are about the same, followed by conditional statements. And then finally, the most powerful ones that always get precedence are biconditional statements. So for some symbolic representatives of what this might look like, we have the other table right here, where, as you can see, that if we have a conditional, a negation, and a conjunction, the most important piece is that conditional. And if we wanted to clarify things with parentheses, we could pull that conditional out a little bit and write that as if P, then Qn not R. Similar for the other pieces all the way down until we get to that last one, where because we just have two connectives that are a conjunction and a disjunction, it's not entirely clear which one is more important, and you would likely need to have had something determined about that information beforehand, or a little bit more clarity with parentheses if you wanted to say which one is dominant there. Anyway, let's finish with an example. Here we have the following three simple statements. P, it feels like I never go backwards. Q, every part of me says go ahead. And R, I got my hopes up again. What we want to do is translate the sentence we get with those, that is, compound statements, into symbolic form. One is it feels like I sometimes go backwards if and only if every part of me says go ahead and I got my hopes up again. Whereas two is it feels like I sometimes go backwards if and only if every part of me says go ahead and I got my hopes up again. The first thing we should notice is the difference between those two statements is very subtle. They're incredibly similar, but there's one really key difference in the presentation, and that is the comma. So if we want to talk about this, the first thing we should notice is that when we reverse never, we get sometimes. So since we have the biconditional not separated by the comma in the first case, we don't have any real clarification, and the biconditional statement takes precedence, meaning we get not P if and only if Q and R. Or we stick those two together to just make it a little bit cleaner that those are the ones that we group together to fit into that pattern. On the other hand, for the second, the comma groups the biconditional term. So there, we still have not P if and only if Q, but because the comma comes after Q in this case, that is, the comma comes after every part of me says go ahead, that whole thing gets grouped together in parentheses, and then we tack on the conjunction very end.